Hello, everyone. This is Pedro Baez from Go for Glory Stable. Today is August 10th, 2025. This is the baby weekly update video. And just as a reminder, Go for Glory Stable is a harness racing fractional ownership group, racing mainly in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. We do race elsewhere also in Ohio and Ontario. And basically, we allow people to invest in a non-traditional investment such as racehorses, um, and for as little as 1%. So it's a good option for people who are new to who are just exploring different ways to invest their money and have a little fun while investing it. And also it's a way for people who are familiar with horse racing and investing in horses, and they just kind of want um, they want a diversified stable, but they can't own 100%. So they'll take 10% here, 10% there, 10% here, or 1% here, 1% there. And you can kind of build a diversified horse racing stable, just like you build an investment stock portfolio, same way. Um, uh, so with that being said, please like or subscribe if you like these videos, as it helps the channel. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, so let's begin with the babies. So adios, my this is audio. This is going to be a short video. Adios, my Lindy. Paul trained her on uh, Friday, and she was really good. So she was really good. So she went in 202 and 3, which is solid. First half in 103, last quarter in 29 and 1. Didn't break. So remember, Paul was dealing with those braking issues. Maybe who knows what it was. There's a million things that could have been a reason. Maybe she just wasn't mature yet. Who knows? But for whatever it is, she's not breaking the last two times he trained her. So she went to Vernon Downs. She was good. Paul said really good manners. Paul was actually very excited about that, and yeah, so now she's ready to qualify. So today's August 10th, Sunday. So that means I think they hold their qualifiers on Friday or Saturday. So everyone they don't videotape it as we saw with Geologic. So we got to kind of wait for the lines and wait for Paul. But yeah, this is a big week, huge week. Adios, my Lindy is making her first qualifier on Friday or Saturday at Vernon Downs. So all the Adios My Lindy owners, thank you for your patience. It's been this is how it goes with the babies. So but she's ready to go. She's going to qualify on Friday this upcoming week. Next horse in the barn is Geologic, and it was a weird race. The race was charted incorrectly, and they originally everybody was going crazy because they originally charted him at as a with like the a 31 Geo Geola. They originally charted him with a 31 last quarter, 31 and 1 last quarter, which I agree with everyone. It wasn't pretty. You don't want to see 31 and 1 last quarter. But let's look at his race here. He's on the rail. He's making to remind you this he's making his first ever start, and he is facing. These are all 3-year-olds, and as you'll see by the speed, they're not bad. So here we go. So he's racing, and look, he didn't break. You got that 2 that broke right next to him. Geologic never looked like he was going to break at all. So the key, one of the backbone of trotters, for anyone who's ever done trotters, versus pacers, the backbone of trotters, especially 2-year-olds, is they got to trot. They got to keep trotting. Don't break. Don't start galloping. So there he is, and he's intentionally taken to the back because if anyone's ever known with Paul Kelly, you'll never see a crazy fast first race ever. It's just wants to get a race in him. So he's in the back. He gets around that turn fine. He's sitting behind the 6, and the key here is he's keeping up. You know what I mean? These are 3-year-olds who have 15, 20 starts, 30 starts. You're very experienced. They're a whole year older, whole year stronger. They're it's really tough for a 2-year-old making his first ever. So he gets around that turn right there. Um, you know, eh, he had to. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't bad either. You know, so here he is. He's following the 6 here, and he's just trying to. He's just the key here. Like I said, is he's keeping up. Like he's not. You don't see him backing up all the way behind the entire field where he's off the screen type of thing. he's keeping up with these guys. 57-4, that equates to like a 55-3 mile, which is very fast. I mean, Moneyman raced on this day, and he raced in like 55-1 or something like that. Moneyman is probably our best trotter in the barn right now. So, you can't expect a 2-year-old making his first ever start to do that. So there he is, right there behind these horses. You see that 3 broke, not geologic. Not geologic. He's still going. So there he is. He's actually finishing strong with this bunch. That 5 I mean, these horses are just too good. He's finishing strong. He tried it strong through the wire. 55-3. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous for a maiden. For a maiden race, non-winners of one. So just don't worry about where he finished. I think he went like 58-1, which is excellent. 58-1 is. I'm not trying to say he's next Skybox or Moneyman, but Skybox or Moneyman did 58-1, 58-4 in that range in their first ever starts on a 5/8 mile track, which is the same size track as Plainridge. Like I said, I'm not saying he's going to be a next Moneyman or Skybox, but I'm telling you, just from a time perspective and how he raced, I think he did like an even. I think he went like 59-4. Let's pull it up actually, since he's the most recent horse who raced. So let's just go into, because the other horses won't. We're not going to go too crazy on. He went so 6 and 10 lengths. So 58-4, 50. So 59-4 first half, which equates to 58-2, 58-2 back half with a 29-4 last quarter, which was solid. So this was a 2-year-old trotter making his first ever start with a 58-2 back half and 29-4 last quarter. Excellent. Excellent. So we looked at the competition for his Colt division for Massachusetts, and it's not looking too. It's looking reasonable. Like there's no Moneyman went through the ringer last year. I mean, he had to, and even the fillies, both divisions were brutal. So this year, the Colt division so far as of August 10th isn't looking that bad, meaning it's looking reasonable. There's like more of like Excelsior and Stallion series type horses in there. Uh, the fillies are different. So the fillies, it looks like there are some killers in there. Fillies, there are some sire stakes quality horses in there. So, we're gonna need Adios My Lindy to be pretty good, to compete over there. But she's looking pretty good, and then we'll see how that goes. But Geologic, yeah, his division is looking okay, and we just gotta keep monitoring it the next month or so and see if you never know if a new entrant comes in out of nowhere and he's a monster. So we just gotta kind of see how it goes. But so far, great first start. Um, Paul's gonna planning on putting him in the box this week for this upcoming week, so like Wednesday or Thursday for the week after on like Monday, probably at Plainridge again. And he's hoping that they fill a 2-year-old only race, so he's not facing these 3-year-olds. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, great, great first start, and good job everyone for same thing with Geologic. It was we had to wait for him, but it was worth it. This is what babies are all about. I love the whole development part. To me, it's my favorite part of the game, um, and you'll be surprised how fast the time goes. So, Steal of the Century, he's next. Nothing really to note on him. He didn't race this week, which is normal. The big thing with him is he's being targeted for the Prospect Series, Ontario Sire Stakes Prospect Series, and basically they race for $8,000 Canadian each leg. It's like the third level series down. They have gold, grassroots prospect series. So he's about the third level down, and they race for $8,000 Canadian each leg with a $20,000 final Canadian. And so you need to race in 5 legs to qualify for the final, and there's 5 legs left. So um, so he still has a chance to actually make the final. So I'm kind of hoping that we can get him in that prospect series. And he actually, I looked at the competition, and similar to what I just said with Geologic, it's actually not that bad. Steal the Century actually looks like he can compete with these guys, and his peers, his fellow Ontario 2-year-old colt pacing peers. So I'm actually very interested to see how he stacks up in there. And so let's see how that goes. I think the first leg might be next week. So let's see what happens. So that's Steal the Century. I'm actually very curious to see to see how that goes. But he looks like he can compete based off all the horses that have been racing in there. And let's go to Steel the Century. Steel the Century, not Steel the Century, the second chapter. He also trained on Friday with Paul at Vernon Downs. He went in 2:15 in a jog cart and last half in 1:05, which is really good for a jog cart. Jog cart's really heavy versus like a race bike that's like really light. So he was good. Paul said he just needs a little bit more work. I didn't ask him in detail what that means, a little more work, but Paul works in mysterious ways, and he'll get him rolling. So we'll see what that means, and we'll see. I'm sure he probably will train again this week, and just kind of keep things moving with him. The good thing with him is there are some big stakes races that still is later in the year in September, October, November that he's eligible to. So we'll kind of see how that goes. So with that being said, this is the baby video, and good luck to everyone. This was a big week. We have another big week coming up, and enjoy. Good luck and enjoy the races. Thank you.